Ever wonder if your online secrets are really safe? Discover the groundbreaking way Gopher Security is changing the game. You're going to want to hear this. Let me introduce you to Edward Zhou, the incredible mind behind Gopher Security. Edward is a serial entrepreneur who has already built a security product that protects over 2 million users. With a strong background as a senior Hadoop engineer and director of ERP infrastructure, Edward brings a wealth of expertise to the table. But that's not all. Edward is also a hardcore researcher and builder. Curious about how Edward managed to tackle such a huge issue in the digital world? Stay tuned because you won't want to miss this. Let's dive into Edward's journey with Gopher Security and discover how he's solving some of the biggest problems in digital security today. Edward Zhou from Gopher Security realized that protecting admin consoles was a universal issue. By creating a unique solution called 100FA, which is a super secure, user-friendly authentication method, Edward has been able to simplify complex security needs for businesses. Listening to customer feedback and iterating on the product has helped Edward grow Gopher Security rapidly. This approach of focusing on real problems and continuously improving could be a game changer for any startup. Welcome to The Founders Show, the ultimate podcast for startups and visionaries like you. We share amazing stories and help you connect, inspire, and grow with our huge audience. Today, we're super excited to welcome Edward Zhou, founder of Gopher Security. Edward, thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Hi, Edward. This is Vatsa from The Founders Show. Thanks for joining this podcast, and I'm so glad to have you here with me. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm good. Vesta, thank you for calling me back. I was running late because of some health issue. So just to catch up here.
No worries, Edward.
Yeah.
I hope you're feeling better now. Let's dive right in. Can you start by telling us the name of your startup and the big problem you're solving?
Okay, all right. So our company, also product name is Gopher Security. So this is a typical founder story. We 2 years ago, we started this concept and the prototype, which is Baby Gopher. We kind of secure our own product, which is a consumer security product. We have problem. I want to protect our admin console with privileged access. So we don't want our console being breached by anybody anyhow. So that's why we end up search out, there's no good solution. And then we build our own Baby Gopher because we're a security guy. We figure out we should build that our own. So from there, we kind of protect our admin console in a very bulletproof way so nobody can hack into it till the end of the day. So a couple of months later, we realized this is a common problem. Everybody want to protect their admin console with privileged access, right? So we improve the product, keep evolving, and that's for till the end of the day, which is a full-fledged security product. That's a story, but the problem we're trying to solve is Gopher is a unified platforms for networking and security. I think of the company or product could Zapier. So Gopher is a Zapier for networking, but with building advanced security extensions. This is a key to solving fragmentation in security space because what we're learning from security industry is all the modern companies, they're deploying tons of tools from tons of vendors. They kind of have vendor fatigue and also very struggling try to reduce the complexity and the cost of the ownership of this IT infrastructures, right? So we presenting Gopher as a unified platform, and this is how we fill the holes, kind of give them a simple tool to tackle all their security challenges and problems.
That's a fascinating journey, Edward. Starting with solving your own problem and then realizing it's a universal challenge is such a classic founder story. So Gopher Security essentially acts as a unified platform, simplifying networking and security while addressing vendor fatigue and complexity, right? I'm curious, when you first built Baby Gopher, What was the aha moment that made you realize this could scale into a full-fledged product for others?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. Really, thank you for asking that one. From the moment we solve our own problem, right, which is to protect the enemy console with privileged access, we worry about our data because that's every company's concern. If the data is breached, you're done, the business, right? So for that moment, we end up build the baby Gopher, and we did a little bit more research. All the companies, they have the same problem. Their enemy console, like you're using AWS or cloud vendor or Salesforce, right? So all the system, they give you a very simple way to protect your privileged access, not a very advanced way. So simple way could be 2FA, but we like go from there. I will build a lot of features. Okay, think of 100 FA, for example. We give you 100 FA, but transparent to you. So we end up building a context-aware authentication, meaning you need 100 FA to log in, but it's transparent to end user for sure. So we realize even the bad actors has your credential or compromise your credential or borrow your credential from dark web. They cannot easily, I would say practically impossible for them to replicate all the factors being enforced to match, right? So that's how we kind of fill the hole. All the modern 2FA based approaches not enough. Okay, we give you 100 FA and beyond. So from there we realized that hey, this could be a very very good way and protect the enemy console with privileged access, right? And we involved, of course, we built some other security measures. So till then, that's where we get and to be a product and enterprise ready, we push to market.
That's incredible, Edward. The leap from traditional two-factor authentication to your context-aware 100FA approach is such a game changer. I love how you've made it both highly secure and seamless for the end user. It's clear you've identified a critical gap in the market. When you started pitching this to other companies, what was the initial reaction? Did they immediately see the value, or did you face challenges convincing them to adopt this new approach?
Yeah, so we have early adopters, customer. We reach out to them, especially those folks who are taking care of this enemy console with privileged access, right? A lot of times they feel like, hey, we have 2FA, but we think the 2FA vendor could be compromised, right? MFA as well. What do we do? Like your ISP or like your 2FA, that code vendor is compromised. That's been happening before, right? What do we do? So we have no extra protection, right? So when we talk to them in a way, hey, we'll give you 100 FA, but transparent to you, what do you feel? They think, man, this is, like you said, it's an aha moment. So this is really sense we like to do, right? Because 2FA is not good enough. So otherwise, if we get data breached, man, we're done. So they really love this 100 FA transparency. And also the category would be, like I said, it's context-aware authentication, right? Like doesn't only take care who is accessing and how and when and where. Those all contextual information. That's how we protect this privilege in a very bulletproof way. Of course, we have some other advanced security measures, which could be like granular access control and to protect the corporate data. And another one is like quantum resistant end-to-end encryption. That's going to protect all the wire communication between your endpoints and your corporate side assets, right? Finally, we do have a Gopher micro-segmentation and give you like a highly segregated network sandbox, require your endpoints, your servers are run inside of that sandbox environment to prevent lateral data breaches. Even in the worst case, you get breached and then that breach doesn't spread across the whole organization. So it's not just 100 FA. We provide a comprehensive that protection for the modern company when it comes to the remote worker force and cloud adoption and AI adoption, because from there the enterprise has expanded defense area. That meaning you got a higher possibility of data breaches. Right? If you want to dive into more about some other security features we have built as part of this holistic approach, and I would like to talk about it more.
Wow, Edward, this is truly next level security. The way you've layered 100 FA with context aware authentication, granular access control, quantum resistant encryption, and micro-segmentation is incredibly robust. It's clear you're not just solving today's problems, but also future proofing against emerging threats like quantum computing and AI vulnerabilities. I'm curious, when you were designing this holistic approach, how did you prioritize which features to develop first? Was it based on customer feedback, or did you have a clear vision from the start?
To be honest, in the early days, we listened to our customer because we dug for our product, right? Like I said, we secure our own another security product, the Enemy Console. We have that initial intuition, right? So after that, of course, we listen to our customers. So they do see the big value of the 100 FA contextual authentication. But regarding some other security measures like granular access control, which is policy or service, and give you a chance you can specify object level and policy control and quantum resistant entry encryption. And lastly is micro-segmentation. Those are also based on our own kind of requirements. We have that clear vision, to be honest. Those three actual security measures, we have the vision. So we know that we put these three plus that contextual aware authentication, put these three, we give you a very comprehensive, holistic approach, protect all the modern company security problem, which is the edge device you have, remote employee device, and your corporate assets, anything in between, which is like wire communication, right? You see all the three endpoints, corporate side, wire communication, they actually already representing the highest vulnerable places and companies have to protect. We just know it. So lastly, we give you give you the micro-segmentation, give you highly segregated that level sandbox environments and to minimize the impact of lateral data breaches. Yeah, to in short, we have the clear vision.
Got it, Edward. It's impressive how you've balanced customer feedback with your own clear vision to create such a comprehensive solution. It's evident you've thought deeply about every layer of vulnerability, from endpoints to lateral breaches. Speaking of vision, where do you see Gopher Security heading in the next few years? Are there specific industries or markets you're targeting, or perhaps new features you're excited to develop?
So regarding our go-to-market strategy, in the next 1 year or two, we also have very clear paths. Essentially, those vertical industry, they are remote worker heavy. That will be our initial focus to acquire. Those companies could be like, Silicon Valley. There are a lot of software companies. So they just they stop to renew the office, right? They move to purely remote, like the Zapier, like some other. So those remote worker heavy or purely remote workforces are our market. Secondly, because those companies, they have to go across a perimeter, right? Perimeter meaning that the traditional firewall-based protection. Once you're in the perimeter, everything's protected, outside not. However, once you go across, and all the problems comes from there. Secondly is those data heavy, okay? For example, the retail company, like Target, like some other credit bureau, those companies. For example, Target years ago get hacked just because one of their contractor VPN credential is hacked. So unfortunately, Target, the company, doesn't have the granular access control in place, right? So the bad actors just use that VPN credential, log into Target internal system. They steal all the data down to the dark web. Maybe you and myself, we're victims if you check the dark web using your email linked with your credit card information. Of course, if you have interact with Target, such as go there to buy some items, right? Of course, we are victims. So I just want to give you an idea. So data heavy, like retail, is also our customer we want to work with. I would say lastly will be those asset heavy. Asset heavy meaning those fintech company, right? They're holding lots of the stock options, those trading numbers. Those ones are extremely vulnerable. if you don't have this comprehensive protection in place, if they get hacked, they're done. So because they're holding lots of assets, right? You can imagine that your stock option or your some crypto assets transferred out of your wallet, transfer out of this brokers. So that's what we also want to work with.
That's a well thought out strategy, Edward. Focusing on remote work heavy industries, data heavy sectors like retail, and asset heavy companies like fintech makes perfect sense given the vulnerabilities they face. It's clear you're targeting areas where security is not just a priority but a necessity. With such a diverse range of industries, how do you tailor your approach to meet the unique needs of each sector? For example, do you customize features or offer specific integrations to fit their workflows?
How do we get them on call? That's a very good, very good question. Also interesting. That sales process, it's a B2B heavy industry. That sales process kind of very heavy, very hard. But I think the key point here is the value. The value they have seen, or the value they will see, right? So I want to recap what we build. So because what we build, they see the value out of it, right? Out of here. They, of course, remote worker heavy or asset heavy, data heavy. All those companies, they do allow this a certain level of remote worker, right? You go across perimeter and you already expose your endpoint, right? Compromise device and credential. So that's where they really want to protect them. So Gopher has use that contextual authentication to verify that and continuous ongoing verification, right? So and even as a first gatekeeper, once they go through the first gatekeeper, and then we're gonna look up the organizational policies they specified using that identity. First gatekeeper, which is contextual authentication, we know who they are, we know the identity, right? And then we just look up the associated policy, and with that identity, we enforce the policy, okay, on every access, not just one time, continuously. So this policy, just in-time policy, check is going to kick in. So from there, all this is data heavy, asset heavy, remote work heavy. On corporate side, they need this kind of level of protection. You don't want to that the bad actors can access broadly your resource, right? You only want to have certain people with a certain role and to access the data, the assets they're supposed to, right? This kind of a way we minimize that broad access to your assets, right? So this is also the places, the organization, they see the value, right? You really want to minimize the scope down, the access scope, right? So and anything between the endpoints and the corporate side, that's wire communication, like you use a Starbucks on secure Wi-Fi, and you could be victim of man-in-the-middle attack, right? So we give you end-to-end encryption, like WhatsApp, Signal, Messenger level encryption, and also we make it quantum resistant. So this double-layered security can survive all the feature threats, right? So lastly, of course, like I explained, we require all the endpoint application run within that the sandbox environment using that Gopher micro-segmentation. With all these four put together, and based on experience, we talk to those even big organizations, like thousands of employees. They see their value clearly, precisely. They kind of very excited for this journey and the product we build. So.
It sounds like you've crafted a very compelling value proposition, Edward. By offering continuous verification, policy enforcement, and advanced encryption, you're addressing the core security concerns of these industries. The ability to minimize access scope and protect against threats like man-in-the-middle attacks is crucial, especially for remote and data-heavy environments. As you continue to grow and engage with these sectors, what's one piece of advice you'd give to other founders looking to break into B2B markets with complex sales processes?
To be honest, I don't want to give any advice because also we're a learner, we're a beginner, even we in the cybersecurity space for a couple of years, right? I don't have any I don't want to give you advice, but if I have to, I would say look at the problem, the real problem around your life. So find out this, and then build a prototype from there, dog food your own product, and then talk to all those economic buyer, the innovator, or early adopters, talk to them. So you identify problem, you have the MVP, dog food your product, doesn't mean that it's good product. So you have to get out of the door, get out of your vacuum, and talk to these early adopters. So you will see that what do they need, and then you keep improving your own product. That's the best thing I can share. Hopefully it helps.
That's fantastic advice, Edward, and it absolutely helps. Focusing on solving real problems, building an MVP, and actively engaging with early adopters is such a practical and grounded approach. It's clear that your journey with Gopher Security reflects this mindset. As we wrap up, what's one thing you'd like our listeners to take away about Gopher Security and the mission you're on?
So finally, I really appreciate you give me a chance to share the sense about Gopher, the journey we have went through. So lastly, I want to just share the Gopher's mission to all this community. So Gopher's mission is connect everything, okay? Connect everything, connect the people, machine, and anything in between with precise access control. So, and the quantum resistant, that's our kind of mission. So imagine you have cloud device, you have the on-premise computer, you work from another country, and you have a SaaS application, everything you can imagine out of the IT infrastructure. So Gopher is a unified tool, and you can connect everything seamlessly without any hassle. So imagine it's a Zapier for networking with security extensions. You can just cherry pick what you need. So yeah, so I would like to our community, if you have chance, if you can think of any networking connection problem, you can come to Gopher. Has sign up. There's a freemium. We're more than happy to help you guys just spin up your first Gopher network to secure your access. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward, for sharing such an inspiring journey and the incredible mission behind Gopher Security. Your vision of seamlessly connecting people, machines, and systems with precise access control and advanced security is truly groundbreaking. I'm sure our listeners will be excited to explore what Gopher Security has to offer. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, Edward. Wishing you and your team all the success as you continue to innovate and make the digital world safer. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Edward. Have a great day ahead. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to the Founders Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe so you never miss out on our amazing stories. Are you a startup founder with a story to share? We want to hear from you. Head over to founder.show to sign up and maybe be featured on our podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.